Almighty God, we thank you that we you purpose that blessing over the meeting, knowledge, and we be good. Thank you that people will speak through this meeting, and we give you back the glory. In we have prayed. Amen.
Amen. Today we have an excellent person. This is someone I greatly admire. She's very passionate about seeing growth in people. And she's a coach, works a lot with teenagers as well and adults, and help us to plan better. So please unmute your mics and welcome with me Rosemary Naggujja to kindly take us through our session today on goal setting.
Wow, thank you so much, Bishop Sidi. A very good morning to you all. I can hear some. Yes, thank you so much for muting. Yes, I'm going to talk about, thank you so much, Bishop Sidi, for smoking me out of the background. And this is the second time you're asking me to present something about goals. I do not have slides. I came back home very late, but let me share what is on my heart. I've made a few notes, and that's what I am going to share with you. We are going to talk goals and designing your life. I didn't know that I was actually doing goal setting when I was still very, very young. And I didn't know that I had values until a later age in my 40s when they talked about value system. And I discovered that I am a lady who has values and I stick to them. So unless you put yourself in good spaces, you might miss out on some things. For those who don't know me, my short story of senior 2, I set 5 goals: to stay a virgin until I finish school, to get married to a Catholic Muganda man who was not working, to give birth to 4 children, one at the age of 25, and the last one at the age of 30, to have a marital home by the age of 30, and lastly, to work with Uganda Television. All these goals were informed by me not having parents and looking at myself, and the only thing that would make me successful was having an education. But even having an education, I promised myself not to work for long. I promised myself that I would work for only 5 years and retire into self-employment. Why? Because I saw, my parents died very early. And by the time I finished school, all the businessmen in our villages were living healthy lives. They were very young, and yet my dad had passed on. So our goals are informed by something. It could be circumstances, it could be experiences. So it so happens that most of us don't design our lives. We don't actually plan out how we want to live lives. We just live for a life that is not planned. So all the successful men and women have one thing in common. They have goals. They set goals. And even those who don't know that they are very successful, who keep complaining, are always designing things. A tailor, before making a beautiful cloth, they will draw something, they will sketch out something, and after sketching the proper design, then they cut to fit what they want. Sometimes they will even call the person to measure to ensure that it fits what they want before making a dress. Let's look at an architect. The architects take 5 years in school, learning how to do their craft. They think about something. They go on to make, I don't know that they are also called dummies. They plan, they get blueprints, and before you know it, they say, yes, this is what we want. And they start the actual process of building. Yeah, that process that I actually don't know how to make, but yeah, they get to the ground, measure, start using the hoe, and before you know it, the house is put up and it looks exactly just the way they designed it. This, you who is on the call, I am asking you, do you have your plan? How long do you want to live? I want to live up to 100 years. And I am following people who are 100 years, who are still on their feet. They are walking. They are not suffering so much from arthritis. Yes, age beats you up, but they have mastered the craft of healthy eating, eating well, and things like that. So Dr. Kasenene coming to talk to us for me was an affirmation. I dropped sugar a long time ago. Of course, I cheat sometimes on those nice, delicious looking things for the eyes, but I really do a lot of greens and things like that. I know my family background that many of my siblings have diabetes. My father died of diabetes and pressure, things like that. And I told myself no to lifestyle diseases. So what does your life look like? How long do you want to live? Do you have structure? Are you putting systems or things like that? There are 2 rules to goal setting. And I get this from Brian Tracy. He says, know where you are going. If you don't know where you are going, you sit around or take any direction that you want. I had a senior 6 vacuist who would wake up and tell me, I want to see where this road goes. She would walk until she gets tired and then comes back. Then the following day says, Auntie, now there is this road. I want to go and see where it goes. The road never stopped. She's the one who got tired. So know where you are going and plot exactly where you are going. That is rule number 1. Rule number 2, Brian Tracy says, know that you will get there. So in brief, just know that you cannot fail. I love Jack Canfield. Jack Canfield says, supposing you didn't have an option to fail, what would you achieve? That I have just put it in my own words. So there are only 2 rules for you. Know where you are going and know that you will get there. You do not need to start by knowing how or where or when or what. Just know this is what I want and that is how I'll get there. When I was setting these goals, I didn't know that I would get married to my husband. Along the way, I dropped the goals. When I reached campus, excitement, things like that. But the subconscious mind kept the goals. I always tell people I accumulated 15 boyfriends from all those boyfriends where I picked my husband. Boys kept coming to me and I'm putting in their advances, and I would tell them my goals and ask them if they were willing to wait. That is how I accumulated the 15. And some of them got angry when we reached university. I was not giving in. They dropped off. And my husband, I met him in senior 4. He persisted until, when he won me. So there are 4 points to consider once you start setting goals. Number 1, see it in your mind. That process is called visualization. There are people who go on holidays. I used to hear most of the successful people say they have 2 holidays. They have a holiday with their better halves and they take time off alone, where they cut off all the distractions to think about themselves, to just be there and think about the future and what the future holds for them. So see the goal that you want in your mind or visualize it in one word. Adopt to change. From senior 2 up to the time I actually finished university, I underwent so many distractions. So many things happened. Ideally, when you set a goal, yes, as the Christians call it Satan. Satan will come in and start pulling your leg, telling you this, telling you that. You get a lot of distractions, but So many things will come up. Some people get heavy accidents. And even in those challenging moments, adopt to that change, but keep your eyes on the goal. Keep focused. So even when you are adopting to that change, keep in mind that you have a goal that you want to keep. Point number 3, think about it often. There is magic in thinking about what you want. There is magic in talking about what you want. So many, they have actually put this into a vision board. When you listen to so many people, they say, put it on the fridge, put it where you can see it. Maybe make it your screensaver, such that every time you open, you can see your entire life plan. That is, a life plan is also something different. Someone promised to take us out and give us a process on how to put up our life plan. I'm sure if you know how long you want to live, you start fixing in different things in your life plan. So think about it often and make it visual by having a vision board. I have over 8 vision boards that I have made. I've gone through a hectic life, and every time I get out of a challenge, I go back to my vision board. I actually come up with a new vision board to fix in some of the lessons and important keys that have come out of that experience. Because if you are to build a house, the architects will tell you sometimes they break, sometimes they add, they keep modifying. So these experiences that come in keep modifying our experiences, and they keep modifying our goals. You don't change the goal, but you can keep modifying, breaking it, and putting it together and making better things. And lastly, take one step at a time. There's a gentleman who told me, when I have a big idea, I go to the border stage and just pretend to be talking to those border men. They will crash, they will break it down for me. And by the time I come back, I have the different steps. And he said, poor people know how to do things that they are not in their, within their scope. You give someone what you want to do, they will either comment negatively, or someone will give you all the ideas how to get there. So in your goal setting, find a space where you can share, where you can ask. Find people who can help you. Gather information. And before you know it, you start seeing the steps to getting there. Let's look at, now you have put your goals together. You have just written it down plainly. Just like in the Bible, they say, make your dream plain, such that whoever sees it runs with it or runs away from it. So you have thought about it. Now you are writing it. There is magic when you think and then you put it down. Jack Canfield says that every day the brain we think about more than 1,000 things or 10,000 things. So the brain is like at that junction. For people who used to watch TV, they used to show that junction where cars are coming in different directions. And when the lights go green, then you choose where to go. Otherwise, if you don't know where to go, you can keep moving around the roundabout and not knowing where you want to go. So many thoughts invade our brains. And in the brain is something we can touch. It is something we can feel. It is an organ, but within the brain, there's a subconscious mind. Whatever thought you think about, the subconscious mind says, yes, that's my meat. I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Whether it is something you want or not, something you don't want. So if you don't have a goal, the subconscious mind is going to keep piling things that you actually don't want. But if you get something and write it down, the subconscious mind will know that you actually want it. And it will take action. Today, if you don't take anything from what I'm saying, I want you to understand that we are the ones to instruct our brains to act. Instruct your brain to act. Ask your brain to find what you want. When you write it down, the subconscious mind gathers itself. In the subconscious mind, there's something we call a reticular activating system. This activating system activates almost every part of the mind, and it says, this is what Rose wants. It will start collecting information. It will collect resources. It will collect opportunities. It doesn't have that ability of saying, go here, go there. It has the ability of directing you, commanding you, and collecting the networks. I'll give you a scenario. In December, I really wanted to meet Director Grace. And every time he would present, I would say a silent prayer. I call it polling. If some of you have watched The Secret, it has the law of attraction. You actually live in the moment. I would tell myself, one day I am going to be called to meet Director Grace. I am not going to pick a call and call him. I am not going to text him. Someone is going to find that I need to meet Director Grace. I made sure that I put myself in that space. Whenever they actually announced something at Worship Harvest, I showed up. I paid for the breakfasts, and I used to see Director Grace from a distance. And I kept talking to myself, you are going to be given an appointment to see Director Grace. You're going to meet Director Grace. I started telling myself, you're sitting down with Director Grace with a one-on-one. Guess what? December around 25th, Bishop CD picked his call. I don't know where he got the idea from, and told me, Rosemary, you have been one of the most active people on the platform. I'm giving 3 people an opportunity to meet Director Grace. Would you welcome that opportunity? My son saw me getting up and dancing. I danced. You people, I danced. I told him, yes, this is an opportunity I have been looking for. I don't know what I said, but I was very excited. I danced. I switched off the phone. I knelt down. I thanked God. Why? Because I believe in the law of attraction. When you need someone, ideally, the subconscious mind starts pulling information. It connects you to the people that you want to meet. And before you know it, you will meet them. There are times when I think about someone and I tell myself, but I've taken long without seeing this person, maybe for long. I take a walk on the street and I find them. And I tell them like, by the way, I thought about you. I wanted to meet you. And guess what? You are here. I'm sure it has happened to you. And it's still happening to so many of you. So what kinds of thoughts are you thinking? If you have not watched The Secret or the Law of Attraction, kindly please just type in Law of Attraction and you will see how powerful it is to write your goals, put yourself in position, and then leave the rest. But of course, you have to take steps. You have to write down, put yourself in space. When I wanted to move, I can see time is rushing, so let me try to be brief, but let me take you to this. I wanted to move from one growth area to another one. I promised myself to move to different networks. That's where I found my mentor Dorcas. So we actually did some course. And after that course, she was given to me as an accountability partner. She took it on to take it to another step. And she's the one who introduced me to Worship Harvest. And in Worship Harvest, before I knew it, She introduced me to BLN, and I'm in the right circles. I have been praying for coaching. Before you know it, they have started a coaching class that I'm organizing myself to join. I want to be a billionaire. I have big dreams and big goals and a big plan for my life. Don't joke that by 100, I'm thinking big. I'm thinking small. Think big dreams and put yourself out there. But you must be willing to put in the work. You must be willing to go an extra mile. So put whatever you think at the center of your mind, visualize it, make sure you put it, you write it down, put it where you can see it, or go ahead and make a vision board for it. I have quite a number of vision boards. And by the way, I have just discovered that now all my children, without even me, I have of course told them so many, but recently I saw them having vision boards before I even sat them down to say, do this and this and this. So you influence the people that you stay with. So once you put it at the center, the subconscious mind will start noticing things. If I had time, I would say, look at this and give me ideas. But when you want to buy a car, you know the model, you know the color. When you go out, you will start seeing that car. You will think, actually, before you think about and zeroing down to that car, you may not notice those cars. But once you say, I want to buy a VTs, because your mind is telling you VTs, this and this and this, you'll start seeing that exact VTs in that color, and you'll also be distracted by other colors. So constantly think about it, and it will start manifesting. The subconscious mind will filter it, and you'll start seeing there's a subconscious and conscious. That one is the real, it brings the actual. This one is just, it will bring you things haphazardly. Maybe if you don't see, before I tell you to look around the room and notice something blue, you have not paid attention to anything blue. But once I talk about it, you'll notice that I'm putting on blue. You'll notice that Bishop Sid is putting on a blue coat. You'll notice a pattern in your thing that is blue. You have sent your subconscious mind to start connecting and filtering everything which is blue in the environment. So your mind will zone in, and before you know it, you're paying attention to that thing that you want. There is a time I saw a flyer and promised myself that I need to go for this convention in India. I started asking people until I gave up. And after a week, someone called me and told me, Rosemary, there is this opportunity going to India for women, for people who are interested in women. And guess what? I was given a free visa, free everything, plus the transport that got me from my home and even back, and allowances, just by looking at a post that came on WhatsApp. I aligned to myself, the subconscious mind pulled everything together. I got the networks. I had never talked to this gentleman. He called me, and I was in India attending the Kudumbashri program for developing women. What are you thinking about? Bob Proctor says, success depends entirely on you, not anyone else. The day you understand that, you will stop blaming people. You will stop acting like a victim to everything. And Brian Ford said, think good thoughts, say nice things, do good to others. When you do good, that is tithing. The more you tithe, the more you get. Thanks to Apmo, who is teaching me to tithe. That had never crossed my mind. And actually my first tithe, I brought it to Worship Harvest, and he blessed me. He might not remember, but after that, after one of the talks that I attended, I went to him and told him, thank you for teaching me how to tithe. Please bless me. And he sent me to the office where they send the tithe. So I can say I have only 5 minutes. When you are positive, you attract positive people. When you are a rumor monger, all the people around you are going to be rumor mongers. When you break up in your marriage, you are going to attract all the bitter, broken people or divorced people. When you are a sports personality, you'll attract all the sports personality around you. Not every man is a sports person, but you find all the sports people around, sitting, becoming friends. But there are those who are not sports people, they also have their clique. When you are a pastor, you actually find yourself in circles of pastors. So basically, before I actually sign out, because we have 4 minutes, are you living in the past or you are living in the future? Where is your biggest pull? Is your pull to bitterness or to positivity? Your goals are affected by your mindset. Your goals are affected by the people you live with. Your goals are affected by you. So I have only 3 minutes to the top of the 30 minutes. Allow me to stop here.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. You have a blessing. We have about 3 minutes. I just want to leave room for questions. I know that some people might have questions for Rosemary. If you can quickly raise your hand so that we can ask that. Okay, I'll just say there are lots of comments from the group. I'm seeing law of attraction, the power of subconscious mind. I'm going to meet Christ, my Lord. Wow, yeah. Then someone has summarized, think, visualize, act, the power of thinking. Then someone is saying, I think serendipity is different. I would say it's a good result you didn't expect. From what Rosemary has shared, we are already expectant of good. Thank you so much, Rosemary. If there are no questions on the group, I'll just, I'd like to invite Director Grace to just summarize and then bless us off. Director, are you there? Okay, since Director might be a bit held up.
I'm there.
Ah, okay, Director, please go ahead, sir.
I was just having a walk. Yeah.
I can see some people for Dr. Kasenene's advice.
I'm telling you, yesterday I drank water like a fish. I'm also proud of myself. The other day I turned down a cake. I was like, is this me? But I'm happy with myself. Rosemary, thank you so much. You talked about the reticular activation system, the RAS. I love it. It's that thing that makes you buy a dress and then you realize everyone else has that dress. Or, like you said, the car you buy, and then everyone has that car, or that car has been around for a long time. But it is also that thing that makes you realize that Chairman Sidi hasn't paid you your 2K. Then you see him in a crowd when he doesn't expect you to see him. Kumbe for you already saw him. So we can use our RAS to do so many things. If you put your mind to it, you will get it. Yeah, I don't want to give stories, so we shall not end this call. So may God bless us and make his face shine upon us, and may he light our path, and let's go make money. God bless you. Tomorrow we're not on. We'll be back on Thursday with another amazing presenter. Catch you on Thursday. Bye-bye. Thank you so much, Chairman. Thank you so much, Rosemary, and have a lovely, wonderful day.